Jack and Rose, Dante and Beatrice, Romeo and Juliet. History and media are filled with powerful love stories, tales of star-crossed lovers from different worlds, passion, and genuine connection that speak to one of the most powerful emotions we can experience. Having said that, one of the earliest love narratives can be traced back to the weird and wonderful and complex world of Greek mythology. This love story contains all of the hallmarks of love stories you know, as well as a terrible prophecy, doubt, betrayal, and even a dangerous gauntlet of seemingly and functionally impossible trials. But, above all, it can be seen as a metaphor for how love changes us, makes us whole, and gives us joy, quite literally. The story originally comes from the collection of poems known as Metamorphoses, written by Apuleius in the 2nd century AD. Just like other stories in the collection, the myth of Psyche and Eros is a tale about overcoming obstacles to achieve a transformation. In this case, the obstacles are very literal and are designed by one of Greek mythology's most prominent and pettiest characters, Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love and beauty. Aside from Aphrodite, this myth also contains two titular characters, Psyche and Eros. Psyche is a moral being of otherworldly, unfathomable beauty, while Eros is a god himself, the son of Aphrodite, who you might recognize as Cupid. These two, the very definition of star-crossed lovers, find each other and join in a sacred union against all odds. They say that hell hath no fury, like a woman scorned, but just imagine the fury of a spurned goddess. This is the myth of Psyche and Eros. In a kingdom like any other, a king and queen had 3 beautiful daughters. The youngest was named Psyche, who was more beautiful than Aphrodite herself. People started praying, worshipping, and making offerings to Psyche, leaving Aphrodite's temples abandoned and neglected. Despite being idolized, Psyche was unable to find love. While her sisters married fairly quickly, the men in the kingdom were happy to admire her rather than court her. In turn, she began to feel lonely and unloved, even with the hordes of admirers she saw every day, cursed by her own beauty. While Psyche suffered, Aphrodite did not like Psyche stealing all her thunder and wanted to make an example of her, so she got her son Eros to help her take revenge. Her mission? To impale Psyche with one of his love arrows, which were designed to make anyone who was struck to fall in love with the first thing they see. In Psyche's case, Aphrodite wanted her to fall in love with something disgusting or hideous, some form of monster. Unfortunately for Aphrodite, Eros cut himself with one of his own arrows while Psyche is in view and falls madly in love with her. In this newfound love, he goes against his mother in secret. Meanwhile, the king is worried about Psyche's inability to find love and goes to see the oracle of Apollo, hoping to find out if they have accidentally caused the wrath of the gods. Gods other than Aphrodite, that is. The oracle tells the king a terrible prophecy that his son-in-law would not be human, but instead a winged serpent that is feared by all, including those who live in the underworld. Heartbroken, preparations are made for Psyche, both marriage to her monster and her own funeral in a single rite of passage, or a transition into the unknown. Zephyrus, the west wind, carries her up to the site of her new life, where she finds a house made of gold, silver, and carved ivory. What she doesn't see is a hideous winged serpent. Her monster husband avoids being seen, but his kindness and passion for her puts her at ease eventually, and soon she becomes pregnant. After some time, her sisters manage to convince her to tell them who her partner really is. This then leads to betrayal and also makes a shocking discovery at the same time. She has been married to Eros the entire time. In surprise, she knocks over Eros' quiver accidentally and is cut by one of his arrows. In the confusion, she spills hot oil from a lamp onto Eros. After that, he runs away. Psyche then wanders through the wilderness looking for her love. She comes across the goddesses Ceres and Juno, who have been prohibited from helping her by Aphrodite. In despair, Psyche confronts Aphrodite herself. Aphrodite reveals in her power over Psyche, who caused all the trouble in the first place, and gets her handmaids, Worry and Sadness, to torture her. After more torture, the goddess comes up with 3 tasks that Psyche will need to do in order to see Eros again. The 3 tasks increase in complexity and danger, and every time Psyche was helped by nature or the gods themselves, who took pity on her for Aphrodite's cruelness. The first task is to sort a huge hill of seeds, in which she's helped by ants. The second task is to get a golden fleece from violent sheep. Here, a spirit tells her to collect the stray fleece that gets caught on the thorny bushes they run through. The third task is to fight dragons in order to collect the black water from the river Styx. And this time, Zeus sends an eagle to fight the dragons and get the water for her. At this point, Aphrodite's fury boils over. She comes up with one more task. Psyche is told to go to the underworld and capture a piece of Persephone's beauty in a special box. At this point, Eros has healed and is in the process of getting back to Psyche. But Aphrodite finds and traps him. Psyche makes her way through Hades and meets Persephone, who helps her and sends her on her way. On her way back to Aphrodite, Psyche gets curious and opens the box hoping to take Persephone's beauty, but dies when the box is opened. Eros has a bad feeling Psyche is in trouble and breaks free from his mother. Luckily for Psyche, he's able to find her and revive her. After that, he takes her to Olympus, where Zeus agrees to marry them in a sacred union and turns Psyche into an immortal by giving her a taste of ambrosia. And just like many love stories, Psyche and Eros lived happily ever after. They have a child they name Hedone, which means joy. With Psyche out of the way and busy with her new life and child, eventually her followers forget about her and go back to worshipping Aphrodite. You probably noticed some familiar themes from this typical love story. They have been mixed and matched and modified in more modern stories. Let us know some of them in the comments below. And if you enjoy mythology and tales from around the world, don't forget to like and consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.